Turning to that passage we read from Malachi chapter 3, and we are turning to verse number 17 for our text tonight. Malachi chapter 3 and verse number 17. We read there in the word of God, "And they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts, in that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serveth him." A couple of weeks ago, we looked at verse number 16. "Then they that feared the Lord spake often one to another, and the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and that thought upon his name." And so there were in Jerusalem those that feared God. Now this particular book, the prophet Malachi, was written to the returned exiles. And so the history of the nation of Israel is that they were brought out of Egypt, they were brought into the promised land, and for a number of generations they lived there, knowing the blessing of God. There was way in which they were obedient to God and then disobedience, and that seemed to catalogue their existence with God and with his covenant that he gave to them. And we find that because of their continued sin against God, eventually God's patience had expired and they were brought into exile and they were taken into Babylon. And so because of that, we find that they had experienced the judgment